Hello and welcome students. My topic of discussion today is the threshold condition for gain. And if you recall that on previous video lecture of topic optical gain, I have discussed with you that in order to have light amplification, one must have a state of population inversion, that is N2 should be greater than N1, so that the gain coefficient gamma, which if you remember depends on N1 minus N2, become negative and you have light amplification. Okay. Now suppose that our gain medium which is shown there is kept inside a optical resonator cavity. Okay. Optical resonator cavity consists of two mirrors of high reflectivities R1 and R2, and our gain medium is kept within these two mirrors. Okay. Now as you know that radiation which bounces back and forth between these two mirrors, okay, which bounces back and forth between these two mirrors will be amplified by this gain medium, and also this radiation which is bouncing back and forth also that suffers losses due to finite reflectivities of the mirrors and other scattering and diffraction losses which are associated with the gain medium itself. Okay. And all these losses are incorporated in this coefficient alpha. Okay. Notice we have gain coefficient gamma and loss coefficient as alpha, okay, or attenuation coefficient as alpha. Okay. If the oscillations have to be sustained, notice if the oscillations have to be sustained within this optical resonator, then the losses must be exactly compensated by the gain produced by amplifying medium. Okay. So as you know that gamma depends on N1 minus N2, gamma depends on N1 minus N2, and for gamma to be negative we must have N2 greater than N1. Okay. The population of excited state must be greater than the population of lower ground state. Okay. Thus we need a minimum population. Okay. We need a minimum value of N2 minus N1 which should be able to just compensate the losses, and so the minimum value of this N2 minus N1 should be called as threshold population inversion. Okay. So now let us do some, or let us understand some of the mathematics involved for this threshold gain condition. Suppose you have I0, the initial intensity which is falling on the gain medium. Okay. And when this intensity travels down the length L of this medium, it should be I0 e to the power gamma minus alpha into L. Okay. So you notice that e to the power gamma L is the amplification part and e to the power minus alpha is the loss part. Okay. So you have net gain like I0 e to the power gamma minus alpha into L. Okay. Now when this intensity falls on this mirror R2, so because this mirror has finite reflectivity R2, only a fraction of this incident intensity reflects back, and that fraction would be I0 IR2 e to the power gamma minus alpha into L. Okay. Now this intensity again travels down the medium of gain medium of length L. Okay. So when it comes to this end, the left end, it again due to the action of gamma and alpha, again on this intensity you have now I0 R2 e to the power 2 times gamma minus alpha into L, because you have e to the power gamma minus alpha L in the first journey from left to right. Now again you are having second journey from right to left, and you have e to the power gamma minus alpha L and then into e to the power gamma minus alpha L, so you have e to the power 2 times gamma minus alpha into L. Okay. Now this intensity which is coming at this left end again suffers a reflection from this mirror M1, and the fraction of this intensity, okay, the portion of intensity, that is this intensity multiplied by the reflectivity R1, would again reflect back, and now it will become I0 R1 R2 e to the power 2 times gamma minus alpha into L. Okay. Now, so we can say that this I0 R1 R2 e to the power 2 times gamma minus alpha L is a one round trip gain. So, okay, one round trip, why it is one round trip? From left to right, and then going to mirror R2, then from in the gain medium right to left, and then again reflecting back from mirror M1. So, this is one round trip. Light starts or the radiation starts from this mirror M1, goes through this gain medium, reflects from the mirror M2, again it travels the gain medium, and then again it reflects through the mirror M1. So, this is one round trip. So, you can say that I0 R1 R2 e to the power 2 times gamma minus alpha L is one round trip gain. Okay, so for steady state operation of this resonator or this laser, there should be no change in intensity after one round trip. Okay, it is the minimum requirement. Okay, it is the minimum requirement that the intensity which was initially there must be equal to the intensity after one round trip. So, you can equate I0 to I0 exponential, or this quantity exponential 2 times gamma minus alpha L R1 R2. Since we are just balancing the losses with the gain, so we are putting this gamma now as gamma TH, where gamma TH is threshold gain. Okay, it is the minimum gain which is required to have sustained oscillations between the mirrors M1 and M2. So, with this expression you can cancel out I0, and then you can have the value of gamma threshold, which is alpha, which is alpha minus 1 upon 2L natural log of R1 into R2. Okay. So, for sustained oscillations we must have gamma greater than or equal to gamma threshold. Now let us see the effect of one may ask you that what is the effect of pumping rate on the on the factor gamma. So, that means if you increase the pumping rate, what happens with the gamma? Okay, so let us try to understand this, that what happens with gamma if you increase the pumping rate. Okay, so as you know that if you increase the pumping rate, the faster is the pumping, the more population inversion you create in the excited state. Okay, N2 minus N1 will be large. If N2 minus N1 is large, so gamma will be large. So, gamma will over exceed the threshold value. Okay, but this excess value of gamma will also decrease the population N2 faster, because now the rate of stimulated emission transitions will become fast. Okay, if this pumping is fast, so the stimulated emission transition rate will also becomes fast, and that will decrease N2 rapidly. So, ultimately this excess population N2 over N1 will come down to the threshold value again. So, there ultimately there is no effect of pumping rate, and then gamma for sustained oscillation becomes again comparable with the gamma threshold. Okay. So, now let me ask you that how the population inversion can be achieved easily. Okay. Owing to this, after having this discussion, one can ask that how the population inversion can be achieved easily, that is, what are the factors which facilitates the threshold value to a minimum one. What factors it depends on? I mean that to achieve N2 minus N1 easily, what technicalities we can have with this optical resonator, okay, or the amplifying radiation itself. Okay. So, first of all, to have a minimum or the lowest value of N2 minus N1, cavity losses must be small. Okay. So, if the value of alpha is small, so the value of gamma will also be small, and so the value of n2 minus n1 will be small. So you can achieve easily the threshold condition if the cavity losses must be small. So that means you should have a higher and higher reflectivity of the mirrors, and you should have a perfect growth material in the form of gain medium with almost zero diffraction effects and minimum scattering losses, etc. So if cavity losses are small, then you have n2 minus n1 as you can achieve n2 minus n1 easily, okay, threshold value of n2 minus n1 easily. Now second thing, n2 minus n1, this threshold population inversion is inversely proportional to the line shape function, okay, is inversely proportional to the line shape function. So the higher the value of this g omega, so lower is the value of n2 minus n1, higher the g omega, lower is this one. Okay, so this g omega, as you know, depends and is in factly inversely depends on the line width. It inversely depends on the line width. So if your g omega is sharply peaked, if this g omega is sharply peaked, then you can achieve n2 minus n1 easily. Okay. Now third factor is that spontaneous emission lifetime should be very small. Okay, what does it mean? That the population of n2 that is n2 the time in which this n2 population decreases to 1 by E should be very small. This spontaneous emission time should be very small. That is, when you excite the atoms from ground state to one of the excited state, then it should quickly depopulate that level and come down to the metastable state. In that case, you can achieve n2 minus n1 threshold value easily. Now fourth factor is n2 minus n1, the threshold or the minimum value of n2 minus n1 is proportional to the cube. And notice that is proportional to the cube of the frequency. Okay, so it shows that it is easy to achieve minimum threshold value of population inversion for infrared, because infrared has lower frequency, okay, than in the ultraviolet region. So it is easier to achieve lasing action in infrared region as compared to the ultraviolet region. Okay, so I am giving you some references through which you can have more information and knowledge. These references are these books, Optical Electronics by Ghattak and Laser Fundamentals by Orazio Salto. Okay, so I hope you have understood this concept. Thank you for your time. Thank you.